Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Federico Talks Watches. Today, I'm going to be answering your questions like, should you throw a watch away or should you service it? What watch would you wear on a first date? And what is my watch cleaning and storage routine? All that and more in today's episode. Now, of course, before we get started, customary wristwatch check. I'm wearing a Seiko SKX. My beater watch, I used to wear it a ton. I actually haven't worn this in almost 6 months at this point. Not to say that I don't like it. I like watches of all price points, but, a few watches have come into my collection. A few things have been switching around, and I haven't been giving it the love it deserves, but I am wearing it today, so I'm pretty sure it forgives me. Also, guys, bunch of new watches in stock. My three favorites that just came in are the Tag Heuer Monaco Golf Edition with the golf colors, box, and papers. We got the now discontinued Omega Speedmaster First Omega in Space Numbered Edition. And we got the pretty rare Zenith El Primero Revival, also a full set. All that and much more at delraywatch.com. Link in the description below. So anyway, guys, these are the questions you asked me on Instagram. That's at Federico Talks Watches. Every couple weeks, I put up a Q&A picture. You can ask your questions below that picture. If you see me looking down, I'm not trying to be rude, just reading off the questions. Now, the first one is from Books on Time, actually a good friend of the channel, and he says, "What watch should I wear on my first date? I want to impress her." Well, two things. Firstly, make sure she's not a gold digger. But secondly, most women, I've realized, don't really wear watches, don't really understand watches. It's hard to impress a woman with a watch apart from its monetary value. In which case, even though it's not the most expensive, I'd say Rolex. Everybody knows what Rolex is. However, if she's a more subtle woman, I think you can also impress her with something a little bit off the beaten path. I know you're a big vintage watch guy, maybe a vintage Cartier tank. The next question is from Pradeep K. Insta. "Hey Fed, still got the SKX? Yes, Pradeep, I do. When do you know if it needs service? Just curious." Well, Pradeep, the truth is, it's never gonna get serviced. This watch was highly inaccurate out of the box. Plus minus 30 seconds. Yes, I know you can regulate it, but the amplitude has been low. I mean, it's just not a great timekeeper. That's out of kind of choice because I could put the effort in to kind of make it better. But honestly, it's just my beater watch and doesn't need to be the most accurate. I just wear it kind of for the love of it. But an SKX should never get serviced. Maybe when they get rarer, but as of right now, a service rate from a decent watchmaker is probably about the same price as buying an SKX new. There's just a few watches that generally you're better off buying new instead of servicing them. Just throw them away or keep them for sentimental value. But to spend $250 on a service on a $300 watch, it literally makes more financial sense to throw it away and buy a new one. Am I ever going to throw away the SKX? No, even when it's long gone and not working, it'll always be in my watch box. Real Ties says, "What do you think of ceramic watches?" Never been a huge fan of ceramic. I've talked about it a few times. I just don't like the look necessarily. Ceramic does have advantages. It's highly scratch resistant. One of the negative advantages is it's brittle. It can crack, even though it's very difficult. I do like the look of ceramic watches on bracelets, though. I think like the Girard-Perregaux Laureato on a bracelet, full ceramic, I think that's super cool. Anytime I see a ceramic bracelet, I'm usually a fan. Marsh to Marcy. "Are the Frederique Constant movements reliable, especially the ones used in the series slimline manufacturer?" Well, these are the in-house Frederique Constant movements. Now, while I don't have in-depth knowledge about them, I have been told on more than one occasion they are based on 2824 architecture. And if that's the case, I do imagine them being reliable. I haven't really had any come back under warranty either, so I have nothing negative to say. Mutasem.omor says, "How do you store your collection? Are there any watch boxes that you recommend, or are there any, or on another level? How often do you clean your watches? Would love to know your routine, Fed. Thank you. Well, honestly, I don't really have a routine. So I store most of my watches. Let me start by saying I'm different than most people because I'm a watch dealer and, I've been in the watch industry. So I store most of my watches right over there in the Delray watch safe. I usually have 2 or 3 with me at any time, bring them home just so I can swap them out, just in a standard travel pouch. But in terms of how I store them in the safe. And I just bought like a watch box from Amazon. Generally nothing expensive, $50-$60, something with a soft interior. I put the watches in there, I put them in the safe. Once a day I go in, I swap out the watches, I choose which ones to bring home. When I travel, I did get as a gift a very beautiful Scatola Del Tempo box, but those are close to $1,000. Beautiful calf's leather, paisley, hand-stitched. You don't really need to go that route, though. I'm more of a fan of spending money on watches more than watch accessories necessarily. But yeah, I recommend maybe using a safety deposit box, buying a box to put in the safety deposit box. It's rather soft on the inside. As far as cleaning, don't really clean my watches until I notice they're dirty. Like if I pull out a watch from the safe, I notice it has a little wrist cheese or something, well then just a little warm water or an alcohol wipe, try and not get the strap wet. But I don't mean to disappoint, I'm really not fanatical about cleaning them once a week or wiping them down once a week, servicing them, every year. That's not what I wear my watches. I get them scratched. I don't worry about it. Yeah, if they're dirty, they're dirty. A little hot water, a little alcohol wipe. Make sure the crown's screwed in, but that's pretty much it. Last question, Steve_Giglio. Are you allowed to sit at a bar to eat and drink in Miami? Well, Steve, yes, you're totally allowed. Miami is kind of like the city where people act like COVID never happened. Am I pro or against that? Well, I don't want to get political. It is what it is. I'll put it that way. It is what it is. But yes, you are allowed. Some restaurants don't allow you to because it's the proprietor's choice whether to let people use the bar. But as far as I know legally and from what I can see, yeah, people eat and drink at the bar all the time. Anyway, guys, that's it for today's Q&A. Please give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. It really does help. And please subscribe. We're so close to 100,000. I can almost taste it. Hopefully by tonight. Guys, thank you so much. And I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.